My club Grimsby Town last year was a very entertaining team to watch. However, that couldn't stop them from finishing outside of the playoffs, failing to get promotion to League One, which hurt a little. But I am still very excited for the upcoming campaign with the players we have. We've managed to keep hold of George McEachran and add players like Zach Gilsonen, who was once part of La Masia and also in the Liverpool Academy. As today, David Artell, one of my favourite managers, does step aside for myself, as I'm going to take charge of my Mariners for the 25-26 season. As yes, people, it's been a while, but here we have this Grimsby lineup, which I have shuffled around already to the team that has been playing in pre-season. I nipped over to the stadium to watch pre-season and also get the new kit, as unfortunately the new kit is not in this game, but the new transfers are, including non-league transfers, who I haven't put over 60 rated, but have put into the game, like Jays Cabia from Ireland. We've got Justin Amaluzor, who's a winger/striker, and Rhys Staunton, the 23-year-old left-footed player from Spennymoor. I believe he's left-footed anyway, as we have the new goalkeeper, Christy Pym, we signed from the league above, and also Jaden Sweeney comes from Leyton Orient. Sam Lavelle, relegated with Carlisle, but also promoted with Morecambe. Zach Gilsonen, very excited about this guy, and of course he hasn't got an in-game face, because I've had to create him as a player. We've got Jamie Walker, who's a veteran. We've got Giza, now with an in-game face. As you can see, I've given him one. As yes, I'm very excited to get this team cooking. I have gave everybody the right squad numbers, and that leaves us with two massive ones that haven't got a place in the team, as Grimsby Town squad numbers don't have a number 2 and don't have a number 10, which makes you think there's more signings incoming. Now, the time you're seeing this, we have already played our first game against Crawley, and I will have been at the game, but I do want to try and aim for promotion this season. Despite whatever the result's been against Crawley, I'm not going to say we're really good, I'm not going to say we're really bad, but I think we've got to go up a tier. However, budget-wise, we are not helped with only £2 million to our name. Now, Grimsby isn't the richest club of all, but also, we have just spent on new signings, and we have lost some players, including both goalkeepers we had last time out in Jake Eastwood to Cambridge, Jordan Wright to Newport County, IRL, and I almost forgot his name, but the big transfer that hurt me, going to a league rival, Denver Hume. He has signed for Fleetwood Town, and that did gut me. I know we've got Jaden Sweeney, I really think he will be decent, and Lewis Cass, we've lost a right back, and right backs can be the number 2, which we are missing in this squad. Harvey Rogers in pre-season has played there, as this is the team that actually played the recent game, apart from Christy Pym. He had a little injury going into the game, and I know we do have right backs down here in Jason Van Thorsen, who's more of a winger, and also Tyrell Warren, who's going to rotate with whoever we bring in, as we do have very decent wingers. Van Thorsen's going to go to a right wing, because he's not a right back, let's be honest. Jamie Walker will be a cam, and Kieran Green will be a CDM, despite scoring a lot of goals last season and mostly playing as a forward player. Then Evan Curry's going to go to CDM. We're going to put Dara Burns onto a right wing drill. Kabia did well in pre-season when I actually watched some games of his, as I don't want to go permanent. I want to search in the loan market just for this first season. So Luke Plange, can he help us plunge to promotion? And also James Norris, a left back. We're going to change to the right. Okay, and both of them have stuck around. Luke Plange to a 69 overall. And yes, I am aware he's played for Lincoln before. And James Norris hasn't changed to a right back. That's because he actually hasn't started. He reminded me of Glennon, a left back we've had before. That's why I signed him. But Jaden Sweeney, he's took his position well as the new starter. With Matty Carson doing well out on loan, I tried to loan him out, and he's the same rating as Norris. Or actually just one less. We've got Rhys Staunton, who's a little too small. Need to change the height on that man. We've got Giza, who went out on loan, which is brilliant. And Jays Cabia, who I cannot wait to see IRL, and he's gone to a 63 overall, which is going to be brilliant for next year. As look at the position swap. So you're going to hear a lot of that sound right there, as Dara Burns improves. Evan Curry to a CDM. He goes to a 63 overall in his rating. And Kieran Green, he does the same. We've got two brilliant defensive midfielders. For alongside George McEachran, Jamie Walker, 68 8 at 32. What a season he must have had. Zach Gilsonen to a 67. Now I've seen how good there can be in FC25. I've got to contain myself for IRL as Vernum to a 65. And Svan Thorsen to a 69. We are in the 4th tier, as that is the team I've been playing on paper. But when we change it to the strongest 11, this is what we have going for us. Now, Sam Lavell's come into the team. Ty Warren, don't know who's played at right back. We definitely need one of those next season, as Jason is one of the joint highest rated in the team. Luke Planche takes all the plaudits from me, but goal scoring wise, it's Danny Rose on top with 17. You just can't hate the man, the club captain, the absolute iconic striker, as Grimsby Town this season do actually finish first. Pressure on them to do it in real life now, as you kind of can see how unrealistic this is. Carlisle, who have been relegated IRL, finish 5th in this division. Still, I am going to take that trophy, and I'm going to take this optimism into real life for this upcoming season, as Manchester City win the FA Cup. No run gone in that. We lost to Wimbledon 2-1, and we lost to Portsmouth in the first round of the Carabao Cup, so financially, we're probably not helped by that, and we lost to the rivals Lincoln City in the BSM, a team we could steal some transfers from. But speaking of transfers, we've got to make some next year. We are missing a number 2, and we are missing a number 10, and I'm looking at you right there because we're missing your subscription to the channel. Please click below. We're on the race to 60,000 before the new FC26 game, and if you could leave a like on the video, I really do appreciate it as well. A League One tour already. Barnsley, Blackpool, Bradford are back. Or we're back against Bradford, but we've got to make sure this isn't just a tour. We've got to keep Grimsby Town at this level. Keep the budgets up, keep the players that we do have as 5 million. Surely enough to stay in this division. As we've lost one player from last season because he didn't get played in his natural position. Harvey Rogers has gone. He's gone over to play in the top tier of Sweden. And good luck to him, as these two signings, Luke Plange and Norris, where we have Sweeney, got Matty Carson back. I don't think we need this Liverpudlian. And Luke Plange is unwilling to relocate, so we're not going to sign him. Plus, he did score less goals last season than Danny Rose. And I'm going to put Curry in the team over Green, as this season we probably need a centre-back / right-back. But then again, a striker needed, with Danny Rose now 32 and unfortunately already retiring. Leaving this season, Jace Cabia. He is 25-year-old, 63 overall. From real life, was playing at Truro, got promotion to the National League. And we'll have an Irishman in Burns and an Irishman in Gilsonen at the side of him. So maybe we trust Jace Cabia as a poacher just for now. His passing is his best stat, which is unusual for a striker. But if we play him as a false 9, I know it's Danny Rose in the team at the moment, but then we've got inside forwards and a playmaker behind him giving us this shape, allowing Svan Thorsen and Gilsonen to run off and score most of the goals. They are the highest rated players alongside Jamie Walker in that cam position. And like you just saw, I wanted a flying fullback. I need one that's going to get up the field because, as pre-season tells us, Jaden Sweeney is going to be doing a lot of that. So I need someone to match him. And Liam Bennett of Cambridge United is the first player I take a chance on. £2 million is steep, but he was needed alongside this man at a steep price. 2.2 million for the Irish centre-half Adebayoga. Hey, and okay, after season 1 with our new 2 signings, I'm going to show you those in a second, we finished 10th in League One. That's not bad, it's above Barnsley, and it's also above the rivals Lincoln. Let's see how we did in the games against them. Of course, it's not Scunthorpe, which is the team that I desperately don't like as a Grimsby fan, as we drew 2-2 in January. Okay, at least we got 2 goals. However, we beat them in October, 3-1 in a decent month. However, do we have a decent team? And have our 2 new players grown? Looking at them right here, they have. We've got a 69. Actually, I think he's only gone up by 1 him. But then Bennett's gone up by 3. Cam McJanet, Jaden Sweeney doing okay. I wish they were a little better. Gilsonen, Svan Thorsen and McEachran are the front runners. KB looks like he could be a brilliant backup next season if he hasn't scored many goals. And then on the bench, Looks like game time has gone back to Kieran Green. As in IRL, Kieran Green is probably one of my favourite players at Grimsby. 110%, just absolutely runs his socks off. And let's see how he does going forward, as Danny Rosen is retiring season with 8, KB not with many, and our top scorer was Charles Vernham. Not bad, always had a soft spot for Vernham in this Grimsby Town team, as 4 million going into this next season, pretty okay? Or really is it, because KB, I didn't like the amount of goals he scored. In real life looks very promising. Jamie Walker's going down. He's at the age of 34, so maybe with Vernham scoring a lot, could he actually be a cam? Or could Gilsonen or Svan Thorsen? If we manage to plug a hole with that position, we can put all our money into a striker. As it could even be Dara Burns, but then it takes 30 weeks. I've got to look at the stats here. 59 passing, okay. Burns is probably not fit to be a midfielder. Svan Thorsen, 62. And I think I like him as that inside forward. Charles Vernham, 64. But then there is 71 here. Short passing's brilliant, crossing's brilliant on Zach Gilsonen. So I'm going to train him up to be our cam as Giza Davituri to a CDM. We've got a lot of good ones at the club, but I am not forgetting about the Faroese player, as that's something I want to do. I want to go to Obscure Nations, as Grimsby Town scouting has been very good overseas, and we need to find someone who scores goals. So let's check a striker in the Superliga. Anyone who stands out right here, and there is Amin Chiaka, 6'3". He's got physicality. If we could bring him to the 3rd tier, it would be brilliant. But anyone cheaper? Well, there's an Englishman in Jimmy J Morgan, a Danishman in Simmelhack, 6'3" again, and look at this for a name, Lucas Henninger of Hesse. He's 6'4". He's 21. He looks like an absolute brilliant player, but then again, lower rated than the others, and there is an Englishman here. And when I look it up, he played at Chelsea, which is an academy George McEachran played at. So this could be a perfect link. Of course, I don't know if they ever played together, but it looks like it could be a brilliant signing. He has took the number 10 shirt, leaving us this to rock into the next season of League One football with. And 20 goals from a striker. That is new. That is something we haven't had happen. But he is still second to the main man, Jason Daddy Svan Thorsen, 75 overall. In League One, he is on fire. And then Zach Gilson and Charles Vernham. Giza Davituri from the Faroes, 71. He's come up leaps and bounds. Oh, come on, leaps and bounds. And Gilsonen, still not ready for that cam position. Making me think maybe next season we signed one anyway, because we're not going to be using him there. Vernham is 31, so maybe Gilsonen just stays on the wing. Still, it says Vernham's in his peak, and he's 73 overall, which is better than Zach, as we go better than the previous seasons. And we're 1 point off automatics. Reading and Peterborough. We finished one above Lincoln City beautifully. Bristol Rovers and Bolton down there. Manchester City win the FA Cup. I didn't check this last season. I'm guessing we didn't go far. Lost to Luton. That was in round 4. And we reached round 4 of the Carabao, losing to Liverpool. Going on some decent runs in the BSM. Round 3 to McDonald's. Do I hate playing them? Of course I do, as we don't play Lincoln City. In the playoff final, we beat Bolton by 4 goals to 1, sending us to the playoffs and sending us to the championship. Within 3 seasons, Grimsby score 3 goals against Bristol Rovers, which is revenge for when they beat us in the National League playoff years and years ago. And that is another trophy, which is beautiful. But now it gets difficult. We are going to the 2nd tier. And we're gonna need more signings, and we're gonna need more money, and we're gonna need more belief. Championship Mariners, from a derby against Lincoln City to a derby against Hull. Got Leeds United in here, a very difficult challenge, which again, I just think the aim is to avoid relegation with the Mariners, as after contracts, 7 million should be enough to keep us up with, as the main team should be good enough on its own. Kieran Green, Cameron McJanet, 2 players I adore. So maybe we've got to keep them here, just out of my love for them, as I'm going to change David Turri around. I'm going to focus a bit more on the squad. So firstly, we need a cam in the team. Then I'm going to go to the bench. I'm going to get another keeper. I'm probably going to get another centre-back, maybe a full-back, maybe a CDM, although I do love Evan Curry. I want him playing. So actually, maybe if we just wait a long while, because he's better defensively than attacking-wise, But could Evan Curry be our cam as a backup, or could it be George McEachran? He's a brilliant player in front of the defence, but maybe if we try him in that position, it could really work out, as I'm going to do what Grimsby Town do best in real life, go to the obscure nations. I'm going to be checking in Romania. Firstly, for that goalkeeping slot, 6'4", Otto Hindrich, running out of his contract, so I don't think we'll have to pay his release clause. And we don't. What a steal. I really think this guy could start for us. That now makes Christy Pym the backup. We've got him straight into the lineup, although we did get him for really cheap. Maybe a little bit more than I expected still. As in fact, we can do that with the bench. I'll get defenders in next season, because we'll probably have to replace McJanet. As much as I love him, the captain's curse. It is real in career mode. Whoever the captain's armband goes to, I want to get rid of. But now, we go for a cam with the remainder of roughly 5 million. With Evan Curry due to be the backup, 4 million. To survive relegation, we need someone who's going to thread them passes through. Get us goals. Get us up the field. Get us goals, get assists, and who better to do it than the man himself, Ødegaard? Hold them horses though, lads. It's probably not the Ødegaard you expected. It is this guy. He's very physical, and he is 76 overall. Nicholas Ødegaard. We've got an 81 rated up front. We've got Dara Burns, who's played a lot of games. And if we do stick him on the left wing, he's left-footed, he should play there. We've got Hindrich, who's been injured, I saw. McJanet has been the same, but he's come back and he's 72. The lowest rated of all the starters. As goal-wise this season, you can see why Jimmy J. Morgan has increased. 35 goals. And Dara Burns was in double digits, as let's get him shuffled onto the left-hand side, or maybe we could keep him on the right and shuffle Svan Thorsen onto the left, because it's a right footer on the left, a left on the right, and with them being inside forwards, they can cut in and finesse shots into them top corners, as Jimmy J. Morgan scoring 35 as a false 9 as we finished 4th. In our first season of Champions League football, or Championship, sorry, we were up there with 91 points as well. Hull City far off us. We were close to automatics in Southampton. However, draws letting us down, and Manchester City always winning the FA Cup. We don't really care about the cups at the moment. Yes, we've got a backup keeper who should be playing in Christy Pym, but money's not really been an issue. We've got good players now we could sell on if we were desperate, as Leeds hammer Cardiff. We squeeze past Hull, meaning we're one step away from the Premier League. Will Grimsby Town be getting there? In the first season of Asking, yes they will. Back-to-back promotions, beating Leeds United, meaning with Cam McJanet in our defensive line, we are a Premier League club again. Oh, sorry, not again. We're a top flight club, let's say, again, because we were once in the top flight many moons ago, and this is the team on paper. A lot of OGs in this team. George McEachran, he is never leaving my sight. I probably should have swapped him with Giza, slowly but surely building his way into that CDM position permanently, as down here, Reece Staunton can be swapped for Carson, who I thought would be one of the first players we get rid of. As now swap Lavelle for McJanet, we definitely need to get a new centre-back in, and maybe we could go left-back, but I do rate Jaden Sweeney, who is phenomenal, but the budget, definitely not. 27 million as a newly promoted Premier League side. Having to compete in a league with the weakest team, apart from us probably being Ipswich. It's going to be really hard to survive, but survive we must try to do. And I think, again, all that money's probably got to go into one player so we make an impact and splash the cash on that one centre-half, maybe make him a new captain. And then we've got to put money into contracts as well. We don't want Liam Bennett leaving, who's now in his prime. Adji Boyega almost. Dara Burns we're going to change the position of. Oh, sorry, no we're not. It's going to be Jason. We're going to have him on the left to cut inside. And George McEachran could be that cam, but now I am going to keep him in the CDM position. Not taking a risk now we're in the Prem. I've played the real-life formation all along that David Artell does play, but we're changing his tactics to a counter style, which Artell relatively doesn't like to use. He likes to build up from the back. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do that, because we we do need a capable defender with some passing stats. And a left footer, as I think we break the mold of going to the obscure leagues. Maybe we could look in the championship. We did just beat a good Leeds United team. As I feel like it would be a bit of a cop-out, but they've got defenders like Diamande and Mancini. How did we beat these? Very, very good defenders, especially for the championship. And Patrick Small is small. He's 5'11" for a centre-back, but he would allow us to buy more players. So guess what? I'm not going to splash the cash. I'm going to be shrewd with the business. We didn't start an academy of our own. I didn't want to waste the money season 1 with it. So I've gone and stolen an academy player from Leeds United on a 5-year deal. Dropped Sweeney down to the bench, make it a solid bench lineup for a low Premier League side, and go all out on a starting left back. As I'm going to grab Mikel Gurgel, a 23-year-old Polish international, collecting nations like Infinity Stones, as there he is, only 24 years of age, and this team altogether, it's growing, more attacking-wise than defensively. Yeah, we've got Small, now we've got McEachran, who hopefully the captain's curse does not work on. I want him staying as that. Good. Giza, Adebayoga, Bennett, a little lower, but then the attack, absolutely phenomenal. And the bench is in fact growing a bit. We've got Sweeney, Gilson and Nkabia. 3 new IRL signings doing very well to prop up the team. In the Premier League, as Morgan is not the top scorer, it is Burns and Van Thorsen, who has now hit the age of 30, by the way. And we do survive in the Premier League. Happy with that. But you can see we took more defeats than Ipswich Town. Not convincing in the survival. We've got Spurs down in 11th, though. We've got a lot of top teams dropping off. Brighton going to the Champions League. Something we could potentially aim for, but I'm not going to expect it like it happens in others. We've still got a relatively weak team, and we can never do well in the Cups. Losing 2-1 to Arsenal in the FA Cup, standard, the first round we enter. And losing on penalties to Southampton in round 2. Of the Carabao. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. It's the thing I say most in videos, but 50 million. You're surely having a giggle. 15 million. I've kept the team in the Premier League up till now. I did want to go out there and get another right back into the club, but I'm not going to be doing that. I don't think I'm going to get any first teamers, and Charles Vernon retired, so we need bench players in a cam and preferably a centre-back and CDM in order to challenge up the table. It's absolutely disgusting here, and in real life, Grimsby Town have really good owners that care about the club. But obviously it's different here, as at least they only expect mid-table and cup runs. Maybe a cup run could equal money. Hence the importance of backup players such as Christy Pym. Jaden Sweeney's going to play in the cups. We've got Cam McJanet, who could probably do with replacing. Again, I hate saying replacing when they're a real-life player for my club, because I really do rate Cam McJanet. He's amazing. Took us up the table so much last year, as we need a player around 5 million who can hold his own on the bench, and maybe we can go for the Frenchman Gaudu, as this is where the negotiation skills come in clutch, because we're really going to struggle here. And I really don't want to sell other players, but we do still need a cam. And Evan Curry, he's been brilliant in other Grimsby saves we've done, but in this one, not the same. And maybe we do have to sell a player to get another player in somehow. Although the only player that's decently rated who we could sell is Cam McJanet. And I'm not going to be doing that, because I consider him now the club captain. And he's still on the bench, but sorry, actually, Kieran Green's going to be my club captain. As now, need to replace Charles Vernon with a capable attacking mid with under 8 million to spend. And I've gone ahead and picked this guy up, because honestly, I just had no faith with the budget we got given. As I've now brought in Bafdili. Is he decent? Yes, he is. But he came from the Pro League because obviously we couldn't go to the top leagues. With the money we had, and I am absolutely refusing to sell this man right here, Jimmy J. Morgan, 25-year-old getting 17 goals. Then we've got Jason Daddy's Van Thorsen at the same rating, but he's now 31. And Dara Burns, he's 28, so he's got a little bit longer to go. And I would really like Van Thorsen to be here when we do lift that Champions League trophy. Although it could be years from now with how we're doing. But we do better in the league despite the budget. Above Man United only spending 15 million, and now we are in 9th. It will not be Conference League football, so again, I don't think the money's going to grow. And I don't want to check the winners of the cups, I just want to check how far we actually got to see our budget maybe go up as round 4 of the FA Cup. It is actually pants. It is pants. We lost in round 2 of the Carabao. No! Everton! Our budget's gonna just absolutely get nerfed again. As for the first time in a long time in FC25 saves, we are stalling. And this team, it needs improving with big investment. Right then, okay, maybe I just check this way with the finances every time because it looks like we do have more money. 78.9 million. Where it's come from, I don't know. Or actually, I do when I look at the team because Bafdili into the lineup, our Belgian pro, not professional enough to start. With Nicholas Odegaard going to Newcastle, he swapped the black and white for the black and white. And did he live up to my expectations? Probably not, but he would be in the peak of his powers right now. And I'm guessing that has given us the money. So now we need to go to some top leagues to sign some players that are going to try and put us in the top competition, the Champions League. I don't want to go through a Europa League shortcut or a Conference League, so I'm going to go Prem. And I'm going to go to a team that finished below us with some quality right backs, Leeds United. They have Sabe, who is Belgian, just like our player now in our cam position, who would make a perfect link, but then again, do we go for someone a bit more proven? Like Juan Sanchez at West Ham. He's been in the Prem a bit more. And in fact, I'm going to go for him. I want every rating nudge we can get possible. And this guy's proven also in La Liga. He has absolutely smashed our transfer record now. We've got to go in for a cam. And I've found someone who, like Jimmy J. Morgan and like George McEachran, came from the Chelsea Academy. And he's actually still there. Or not in this save, is at Mallorca, but Carney Chukwuemeka. Can Carney chuck us into the Champions League and make us a better team? They were all terrible jokes. And maybe deadbeat comedy is the way forward, because I'm actually stunned. I mean, I'm actually, stunned. I'm not going to say lost for words because I'm speaking, but we topped the Premier League with 76 points and Crystal Palace second with 75. Genuinely do not know what's going on here. I cannot see Arsenal. They're down in 10th. Spurs in 13th, Newcastle 16th, almost going down. But Grimsby Town have won the Premier League. We've never had a budget over $1 million, or 100 million, sorry. It would be kind of impossible without having $1 million. That's just contracts, as we don't do well in the FA Cup. I want a cup that isn't just a promotion one. Now, Bristol Rovers get the revenge. When we beat them in the playoffs, and like I said previously in the video, they beat us in real life. In the National League many moons ago, and Juan Sanchez's ex-team West Ham. They go and beat us in the Carabao, as this is what we're going to be in. The Champions League. We cannot forget about this. Crystal Palace were already in it. What kind of players do they have? Must be someone good. They've got a few regens. They've got Franca. Okay, Gutierrez. Hernandez. Okay, and now I see why they're up there. Charles Massey. 92. They also had Sudakov, but we have an incredibly good-looking attack. And I'm not talking face-wise, I'm talking rating-wise with Jimmy J. Morgan, Svan Thorson, Dara, Chukwuemeka. We've got the Chelsea link up in the spine. Maybe a Chelsea goalkeeper or central defender. Could make Grimsby the Chelsea show. And I never said I'm going to sell in, and I am not going to do so, as Jimmy J. Morgan nets 23. And first things first, one change I'm going to make going into this season is Liam Bennett. I'm going to have him as our backup CDM, so that is the bench practically sorted. Apart from maybe goalkeeper, but do we really need to waste our money there when there's a first team in the Champions League? Really want to be challenging for the title in the Premier League again, and the Champions League, as we're expected to reach the final, a UCL spot, and also win the FA Cup from the board. And hopefully that means money to get in the players we need to win those things, as it isn't even as much as last season when we did lose Odegaard. 76 million, which is okay, and this is the team of the year from last year. 2 of our 3 players actually IRL Grimsby Town players who were in the team of the year for the Premier League winning George McEachran McEachran and Dara Burns, joined by Adebayaga, which tells me defensively we probably can keep our shape. And maybe if we keep Bennett as a right back, we could put Turi on the bench, get a new CDM into the club, and definitely another goalkeeper. As I've just deeped, it's our worst position. And yes, I spoke about signing from Chelsea. They finished 4th, but let's be honest, they've probably got more players than Todd Bowley even knows now. And 3 goalkeepers in Jurgensen, Salinas, and Sanchez. Not really what I want, you know, so maybe the Chelsea dream just dies here. And we look abroad to a lesser nation than the Prem, but a decent one still. In Ligue 1 and at Stade Rennais, Ralph Haas. 17, 6'5", 85 goddamn reflexes. Fantastic. And what's this? Another goalkeeper into the club? That's right, as it allows this man to leave, the Romanian who wasn't going to be a backup, because Kera is, and he's going to care deeply for this team, being an Irishman who links up with Dara Burns and Zach Gilsonen. Still sits behind Haas though, who does have the crucial role, Kelleher rotational, and plus we've just earned money from selling Otto to Leipzig, giving us now £58 million, and I'm a huge fan of Giza Turi, George and Giza in the midfield. I want it to really work in real life. But for now, I'm going to go for a proven player who plays for Mallorca, just played with Chukwuemeka, and it's the US international Johnny Cardoso. A player that's just made a move over to Atletico Madrid, IRL, so we know he's a tough tackler. He has that physicality that McEachran doesn't, or actually does a little bit more. Now it's to 79. It wasn't that before. Then we've got a tired attack with Morgan and Burns, who submitted a transfer request at 27, but he is going nowhere. We've got Chukwuemeka behind them, now to an 89 as the cam, supporting a lot of goals. But our second top scorer is our right back, Juanlu Sanchez, who I didn't know could play in the cam position. 15 from right back, and his stats look sensational. Him as a cam would be a really good addition to our squad. Further up the field, however, we don't make UCL next year. Literally the same goal difference. Liverpool beat us by 2 goals scored, which is gut-wrenching, and we lose to Manchester City in the Community Shield. We also don't go and win the FA Cup. That is won by Sunderland. We crashed out to Swansea City in the quarters, and we could have won that trophy if we did get past them as City again in the Carabao Cup, stopping us from almost going on a trophy hunt. As look at that. We're above Real Madrid and Barcelona, but we're still going into a playoff round in 12th. And we beat Feyenoord, which I think is a fairly straightforward game, with the 90 rated attackers we have, and then we beat RC Lens. Good going, good going. And then the team we actually beat in the group stages are league phase Real Madrid, 2-1 for the mighty Mariners, before Manchester City, revenge is sweet, 4-2, and that means my Mariners are thinking between 8 or 9 seasons make the UCL finale, with Barcelona being the team we face. And this is kind of good because it's my English team, the team I support and go to every game to, then my Spanish team, as I haven't been to a Barcelona game, but I've been to the stadium a couple of times, and this is the Mariners team that will take on the UCL final. Not very nice to see how tight it actually got as black and white, and not for Juventus, but the Mariners, come on, we need a decent start. Little bit of a kit clash, and I'm gutted it's not the new kits, but we will rebuild them in the next game with the new kits, as Johnny Cardoso ran himself straight into danger as Juanlu Sanchez wins the ball up the field. Now Burns, Dara Burns, if he's got a man in the middle, Svan Thorsen making the run, and it's a brilliant save by the goalkeeper, as the 32-year-old day 1 star almost got the goal, and that's a brilliant tackle as another day 1 star McEachran versus Pedri. That is going to be a duel, as we need to try and get this ball back before Barcelona go and score themselves. Where Draugo, big block. Adebayaga is now Jimmy J. He is the false 9 in this formation, onto Dara Burns, who I'd love to score. A block by Araujo might fall to Jason, who couldn't take the ball down. And here we go, Yeremai onto Alex Valle. Yeremai gets the ball back again, and Adam, good save. That's Haas for you, as Small is actually injured, and he's managed to keep the ball for Juanlu Sanchez, but he needs to get up now because Jasari, running through for Barcelona, trying to attack in this game, is weirdly passed it back. And now Yeremai, we still can't block it. Pedri through the middle, and I think I've given the penalty away. Yep. And I think that's George McEachran who goes into the book. Sloppy from our man George, the captain I desperately want to see lift this UCL. As Thierry Small is coming off the field, I'm going to put Giza in the centre of defence, as I never thought staying down the middle would solve the riddle, but it does do. A penalty saved against Barcelona, and Giza Davitori, at least he's got some fitness in him, but Pedri running around us, shot in is a weak one. We've been quite terrible, but hang on. That's a brilliant ball from Jimmy J. Morgan. Carney Chukwuemeka, away from the defenders, has to score, doesn't score. Call him Denver Hume with how terrible he was at 1v1 with another player as Chukwuemeka. That's better for Jimmy J. Morgan in front of the defender. Start of the second half, he should have scored. Another glorious opportunity, as now we're actually the better team. What a terrible pass from the free kick. George McEachran, don't get sent off. Adebayor. Look how sloppy that play is. We can't be having that, as now McEachran. We desperately need a goal, and this man does actually score screamers. Straight at Ronald Araujo. Still, we're going to try and rewind and recycle Chukwuemeka into George McEachran. I really would love him to score, and that's a brilliant save by Branco. With a quick good chance, but yeah, this game's completely turned on its head. Chukwuemeka into Juan Lu. This is why he scored 15 goals getting forward. Jimmy J. Morgan gets away from Ronald Araujo, slots it under the keeper. The Englishman we signed from Danish leagues has scored what should be the winning goal. It's an ex-Chelsea link-up with George McEachran, Chukwuemeka, and Jimmy J. Morgan slotting it home. Sign him up IRL, Mariners, as, oh, Adam with an early chance. Almost getting through there, but now we've got a little bit of play to make with Dara Burns. Chukwuemeka, I'd like an OG to score in this final. Svan Thorsen! There we go, there's the Icelandic beast. Recovering from an injury IRL from the previous season, but here, he's 32, he's still scoring for the Mariners. And I think that puts the cherry on the cake. I think we've gone and won the Champions League. And I'm so glad I'm getting to see George McEachran lift the Champions League for the Mariners. Please never leave us, George, or Jason, or Dara Burns, Cameron McJannet. I just really like the team that my team is actually building, player-wise. And of course, I'll be there for the first game of the season. And I might be happy, might be sad with whatever the result is right now, because I'm recording this in advance, but I'd be happier if you guys clicked one of these videos.